and some additional information, whatever I could get, has been added to the second edition. But on the web, what is available is only the very first edition of 1991, due to the courtesy of the Ambedkar.org, who were very kindly put my book there, and after that I received lot of information and help from all over the world, from Britain and USA and all over India. And accordingly I modified the book in various forms, in various chapters. I added the information that I could gather from 1901 to now, about 20 years, 22 years now. The point is, the subject of Tirupati was not discussed by any other scholar,
Unmuted.
though it was known that many it was it was mentioned by many scholars that the Buddhist temples and viharas were asserted by the Brahmanic
Muted.
scholars, and they were used for the Brahmanic pujas and for their Brahmanical use. But the name of Tirupati was not there, and once while I reading the Illustrated Weekly, I found that article on Tirupati temple, and I thought that that does not confirm with the Vaishnavas, and so I tried to collect information. The book I have then written, it took about 5 years for me, and with the Chennai to collect the information and do the temple of Tirupati. I got some books in Chennai with a great difficulty, and on that basis I composed the first volume. First in 1991, it was published after a lot of people refused to print it, and so many scholars refused to give introduction and all that. The book is now divided into four books, and the main point was the first point I had given is the main history of other temples, other places of worship as served by the Brahmanical scholars, Brahmanical people from the Buddhist, in the general decline of Buddhism. And this struggle of Hinduism and Buddhism is the history of that struggle is the main history of India, as was pronounced by Dr. Ambedkar. And the first part of the book, therefore, deals with so many examples, small and big, about available sources of information from which we can see that the temples and places of worship from Buddhists were taken over by the Brahmins. That I have given in first 2 chapters, and then some very big temples like Temple of Puri of Jagannath Vithoba of Maharashtra, Pandharpur, and Ayyappa in Kerala, Sri Shailam in Andhra, Draksharam in Andhra, and all those temples individually I have given some chapters. The second part of the book contains the image, the worship of Vishnu, because the temple of Tirupati is known as the Vishnu shrine, and that shrine is now considered as a Vishnu shrine, and my attempt was to show that it was a Buddhist at one time. So Vishnu worship, how it is done, what are the various types of murtis, what are various types of how to differentiate between the Buddhist and Vaishnava murtis, all that is the technical aspect that I have discussed in this book. And the main important point is the murti of Tirupati Balaji does not have the Shankha and Chakra as the original part of the murti. It has been accepted even by the Brahmanic scholars, all the scholars, that the Shankha and Chakra of the Tirupati murti is not the original part of it. That means when the murti was sculptured, those were not the part, the Shankha and Chakra was not the part of the murti. It was fixed later on by somebody, and we have then to discuss that makes the Shankha and Chakra are the signs of Vaishnava creed. So if the Shankha and Chakra is not there, that cannot be a Vaishnava murti, that is for sure. And if it is attached later on, in some books it is mentioned that it is that Shankha and Chakra are made of gold, and others are silent about what they are made of. The main murti is made, it is a murti of stone. It is a stone image, but the Chakra and Shankha that are attached are made of gold. Point is, when was this attached and who attached that? For that we have gone in the history and various literary evidences have been put forward right from the Sangam age. I am not sure whether I can pronounce the Tamil pronunciation of the various names. So the Sangam literature talks of the Vingadam Hill. The Vingadam Hill was there, and there were festivals, and those festivals were of Shravan festivals. Month of Shravan is very important to the Buddhists. Shravan festivals existed in second till 3rd century, and it is mentioned by the authors that there was no murti or no shrine in Vengadam, but there were festivals. If the murti is not there, if the festivals exist, it must be for festivals do not exist for non-religious purposes. The journey to Tirumalai was a very hazardous journey, was on the top of the hill, and so many hazards were there, and if the murti was not there in the 2nd, 3rd century, and the festival existed, that suggests that the area was a Buddhist area. Otherwise, without a religious purpose, nobody is going to assemble at a place on a very hazardous hill. So we find that those people who were ruling that area in that time were the Kalabhras. Now the Kalabhras in our Marathi they pronounce it as Kalabhra. In English it is written as Kalabharas and Kalabharas, or some variant of the pronunciation will be different in southern languages. So it is the same people now known as Kadambas and by other names. Now these people were described in the so many inscriptions of 7th, 8th century, 9th century as a very wicked people. They were termed as Kaliyasar, and they were abused by the Brahmanic writers of the inscriptions. The point why they were abused and why they were denigrated was these were the peoples who convulsed the affairs of the southern India. They migrated from Tirupati. They were basically from Tirupati area, Vengadam area, and they migrated southwards, and kingdoms there, Pandyas, Cheras and Cholas, their affairs were convulsed, and they practically ruled that portion for about 300 years. Now, these people, how the identification of these people has been a great problem in the study of Indian history, and various people have mentioned various theories, and they have been suggested so many reasons for their. The main objection of the inscription writers was that these Kalabharas took away the lands given to the Brahmins. Those are known as Brahmadev villages. Brahmadev villages, after the fall of Buddhism, what happened was all these Rajput kings took over, and they donated a lot of lands and completely changed the system of ruling. As we know that it is known as the feudalism from below and feudalism from above. Up to the 7th, 8th century, it was the feudalism from above, and later on it became feudalism from below. That is how the historians describe it. When the lands were donated to Brahmins, when the lands were donated, it was not the lands alone, but the people who were tilling the lands, they became the more like slaves of the small feudal lords all over the place. And these Kalabharas, what they did, that all the villages that were donated to the Brahmins, they cancelled that donation and took back the villages. The Brahmadev villages were taken back, and therefore they were abused so many things had happened in the meantime to remove the influence of Buddhism from the South Indian and now also North Indian continents. The North India saw the emergence of Rajputs from the Agnikula. They arranged a yajna at the Mount Abu, and they 4 different kulas like Parmaras, Chauhans and others are produced from the Agnikula Rajputs. But in South India, the process was different. This is known as the Hiranyagarbha Mahadan, and the king has to pass through a gate made up of gold and a vessel made of gold. He has to pass through that, and when he is inside, the Brahmins chant the various mantras of what is chanted at the time of delivery of a lady, and thus the new king is born, and then that vessel of gold through which he has passed is donated to the Brahmins, and the king is now declared as a Kshatriya. And these are known as the Hiranyagarbha Prasuta kings. 5 important dynasties that have been identified as having performed this yajna, the Mahadan yajna, are the 5 people from Ananda Gotra. I have mentioned the 5 names: Ananda Gotra and Vishnukundas and Chalukyas and Rashtrakutas, and there is one more. And the important point to know is all these people were Buddhists. So the ceremony that was conducted was meant for converting the Buddhists. Chezrala, for example, Chezrala was a temple which was converted to Buddhist use. That time, Chalukya's Rajdhani at Ayahor. Ayahor is a small place near Bijapur in Bijapur district, and that was the original capital of Chalukya's Badami. And there is a very important inscription in there which goes by the name of Ayahor precious tree. In North India, as we know, the Allahabad pillar inscription goes by the name of Allahabad Prashasti and describes the military conquest of Samudragupta. In South India, it is the Ayahor Prashasti which describes the military conquest of the Chalukyas, and was the first king, the Pulkeshi the first, and we performed the Hiranyagarbha Mahadan, and he is known to have destroyed the stupa at Amravati to a great extent and started there the worship of Shaiva in Kapaleshwara, or a very severe form of Shiva. So this was the atmosphere that was prevailing, and during that atmosphere, these three dynasties, the Pallavas, Chalukyas and Pandyas, they destroyed the reigns of the Kalmaras. The Kalmaras, who had been shifted due to Satavahana pressure from Tirupati area, the south of India, they were destroyed and their reigns were They've been ended by these three kingdoms on three sides, Chalukyas, Pallavas and the Pandyas. Point is, when this Kalavaras has been described in the Buddhist books. The Buddhist books are not not found in India. When the Britishers came to search for the Buddhist books, they could hardly find any book except the Manjushri Kulkal written somewhere in Kerala. No other books were found. But then the various books were fished out, and the Buddha Datta and Buddha Ghosh and Dhammapal, these were known as the Atthakathakars. They wrote the commentaries on the three Pitakas. They went to Ceylon. There they wrote the commentaries, and they are famous as Atthakathakars. So